If you enjoy my art and want to support my content, why not become a patron? There are 5 brand new tiers for 2024, with lots of cool member access as well as major discounts for all of my Etsy shop decals, blueprints, and SVG digital files. Your support will help me cover part of my art supply costs and will allow me to continue making diorama tutorials like this one. I want to give a huge thank you to my VIP patrons, Rob Brindle and Chris Jones, for sponsoring this video. Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we're doing the first accessory for the docking bay red control room over here. And what we're making is the power unit. Yes. Now, the fun part of this little build, if you've watched the preview video, is that it's located in multiple rooms of the Death Star. When it's placed upside down, Luke attaches his grapple hook here and he swings to safety with Princess Leia from the Stormtroopers. When it's placed sideways, it's where Princess Leia is hiding behind before the Stormtrooper stuns her and brings her to Darth Vader. And when it's placed this way, it's located in the control room and also where Ben Kenobi turns off the shield generator in order for the heroes to escape later on. So that is what we're making today. My name is Frank Diorio. You're watching DioramaWorkshop.com. Okay, here's everything we need in order to build our 223 power unit. We need some black foam core, some black foamy sheets, some black poster board. We need the decal sheets. We need the blueprints. Both of those are available on my Etsy shop. I'll have the link in the description, as well as you can find it on my DioramaWorkshop.com website. We need a roll of toilet paper, some scotch tape, a shish kebab skewer. We need an X-Acto knife, some blade refills, X-Acto pen, pen blade refills. We need a black Sharpie, a pencil sharpener, some glue stick. You can have either tall or short, whichever you can find in your store. We need a hot glue and hot glue refills. Oh, as well as a ruler with a cork on the back, which is the best thing. Oh, I already had it here. Silly me. Okay, there you go. In order to find the blueprints and the decals, you can go to my website, dioramaworkshop.com, and there's 2 ways to go about it. You could click directly to the Etsy shop to bring you to the store itself, and then you could do the search for power unit, enter power, and there you go. You'll find the kit, the decals, and the blueprints made available for you to choose. The other way is to go back to the website, dioramaworkshop.com. This time go to the tutorials pull-down menu, select speed index submenu. That will bring you over here. And then you just scroll down to Star Wars A New Hope and then look for the Mega Death Star Quad Power Unit. Then go all the way to the right, you'll see decals. Click on that. Then you can scroll down, and then when you see the PDF icon, click on that, and it'll bring you directly to the Etsy shop page. You do the same thing for the blueprints. Find the Quad Power Unit, scroll, and this time click on Blueprints. You'll arrive on this page. It'll give you the previews, and then find the PDF. Click on that, and there you go. You can add to cart and then download immediately. Hey, before I forget, artists inspiring other artists, I want to give a huge thank you to Donnie Versiga and Luke Masasi for brainstorming with me and comparing their versions of the scene in order to make my version the most movie accurate that I wanted to do. I'll be putting links in the description to their social media so that you could find out more about these cool guys. Okay, let's start by explaining the decal sheets. So here is your cover explaining that there's 4 sheets in this kit. On page 1, we have the main body template, as well as the trapeze top frames over here. And then we have the toilet paper tube at the top and the bottom in order to give you the proper circumference. And then if you notice here, there is a guide that says yellow, place on foamy, which is these. There's a yellow rectangle over here. And then it says blue, place on poster board. So these go on a poster board. And then red goes on foam core. So then this section will go onto a sheet of foam core. Now, if we go to page 2, this is the main skins for the unit itself. So you have the inside of the tube top. We have the main body frame skins, the top and bottom over here. We have the body skins and the feet skins. Now, like I mentioned before, the feet are optional. You don't need to do them, but I think it looks nicer with it. Page 3 contains the toilet paper tube skin, the 4 little pipe pieces where Luke, his grapple gets attached, and then you have over here the main body wrap for the toilet paper. Now on page 4 and at the bottom of page 3, you have these longer skins over here, and that is so that you'd be able to wrap the entire shish kebab skewer and not just the end over here from the grappling hook. This is for when the power unit is upside down in the swing across scene only. So if you're not doing the swing across, you don't need to print page 4. Okay, your blueprint contains 5 pages in this kit. The first page over here is the explanation of how to create your little trapeze bodies over here that stick out on the 4 sides. So you have the body and the optional feet again. And so what you will see is that you will be cutting out all the outside edges over here. And then where you see the red dots in your blueprint, that is your folding guide. So we'll be folding that in order to create this shape over here. So this will be for your body and this will be for the feet over here. So over here you have the dimensions 2 centimeters by 1.8 centimeters for your foam core trapeze frames. And then you have your foamy trapeze inside frames over here, which are 1.5 by 1.2. So in the last several videos, I started including the templates for your cutouts inside of the decal sheets in order for you to not have to use a ruler and a pencil. You could still go that route, and the dimensions are included in the blueprints just to give you an idea of like comparing, making sure your print is the correct size. It should be if you're printing 100% scale without any zoom in or shrinkage in your printer settings. And when you apply your decal and use your X-Acto to cut along the outside edges, or depending on, sometimes it's different specific things. I'm starting to rant. Anyway, I'm just trying to tell you that by using the decals to cut, you're getting a more precise element for your assembly or model piece, model kit piece, if you want to call it like this. Oh my God, this explanation is going on forever. Anyway, use the decal sheet. It's much better than using a measuring with your ruler and thing. Oh my God, should I even leave this in the edit? Okay, so page 2 of the blueprints after that long explanation. Oh my God, Frank, I should maybe practice these ahead of time, but I guess that's what makes the videos funny sometimes, is just my personality coming through trying to explain things. Anyhow, at the top over here is the inside of your shape that you have in order to give it a 3D effect. So you're going to be cutting along all the outsides, but then you're going to be folding along on the red guides. And here there's yellow. I don't know if you could see that on the camera or not, but the yellow is where you're going to be folding. Here's the base of your decal. The yellow you're going to be folding inward like this. And then the reds, you're going to be folding outward on the other angle. And so this will create a wrap of your little foamy piece over here, and you'll be able to stick this behind your shape over here in order to give you that 3D embossed look over there. Now we see the same thing over here. This is where you're going to be cutting along all of the outside edges. Now you'll be cutting out the center over here in order to expose the shape that we just built before. And then this is going to create your foot and main body, and then you're going to be applying the skin details in order to give you the look of the movie set. For the little pipes where Luke uses his grapple, you're just going to be using the skewer over here, and you're going to be wrapping the little decal around the barbecue skewer in order to get your shape like this, and then you'll just cut it at the angle, and then we'll attach these carefully later on. Page 3 is the example for your foam core body template. So these are the dimensions, 14.8 centimeters by 7.7 centimeters. Now what we're going to want to do here is you're going to want to not cut all the way through. We're just going to want to score all of these little lines every 0.5 centimeters or so in order to be able to make it loose and be able to fold it without snapping. That's a really cool, fun technique that you'll be able to use in other dioramas and other builds as well. Page 4 comes up to explain the main body wrap, 7.7 centimeters tall by 16 centimeters wide. This is your skin that goes around the foam core score that you just did, and it'll create the skin for the body itself of your power unit. And then you'll be using the inside decal skins to place along the inside of your tube over here to make the color match the rest of the body and not look like just white or black of the foam core over here. And then the little cap goes inside, and then we'll be placing the decal ring over here at the top of the thickness of the foam core so that all the colors match perfectly. Last but not least, page 5, you're going to take your toilet paper, we're going to trim a straight line down the middle, and then we're going to place one of the cut circle templates over here, and you're going to wrap your toilet paper around this until you get a tight fit over here, and this will allow you to get the exact dimensions, and then you can put some Scotch tape and then wrap the skin around it after, and then the skin has the indicators of where to place the feet, and it has the darker indicator over here that will show you where the body has to fit on and where it has to stop. Over here is the toilet paper tube stand skin, 11 centimeters tall by 12.2 centimeters wide. This wraps along the toilet paper tube itself, and it creates the color in order to match the body. And then you just have to insert the body onto this tube over here, and the last thing that we need to do is glue the little kebab pipes to the trapeze bottoms over here, and then we'll have the final assembly. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is, like we mentioned, we're going to cut along the color guides over here roughly. So I'm going to take my X-Acto with a new blade, and it's always better to start a project with a new blade. And I'm going to cut along over here. This is the blue line over here like this. The yellow ones are separate as well. Remaining red, I'm just going to trim this. Okay, so I said that red goes on foam core. So I'm just going to apply my decal on this sheet of foam core over here. Peel. Always start with one end up, and then place this like this, and then go forward, down, forward, up. This removes all the bubbles from the bottom over here. For now, I can just do a rough cut. Take this and put it aside for now. Next up, yellow was for the foamy. Grab a sheet of foamy over here. Peel flat on the table. Now foamy is tricky because it's kind of spongy, and so like it wants to like curve and all the stuff like that, so you try to use it as flat as you can. I'm just gonna trim this little piece, put aside for now. Last but not least, I'm going to apply this onto my poster board over here. Peel, and then I want to apply it as flat as I can with no bubbles. Start in the corner and then move my way up. Keep this end up, don't let it touch. And then let it fall naturally. Put aside for another project. Okay, so we have our poster board, our foam core, and our foamy So we're going to start with the foam core first. You'll notice that over here, this line aligns with the 4 little frames, so you can just do one cut over here. Again, if you use a cork ruler, you'll get a better surface grip so that it won't slide all over the place, right? What you want to do is advance the ruler until you only see the white. You'll be cutting just along the edge over here. Now, when you cut, you want to not angle sideways like this because you'll be cutting at an angle. You want it to be 90 degrees to the foam core surface as possible. And you want to extend your blade so that you'll be cutting with a larger surface and avoiding aero bubbles that you get when you cut directly using only this area over here. When you're using a new blade, usually one is enough. See how clean you get when you use fresh blades? This is the piece we want to keep. Put it aside for now. I'm going to cut the rectangle frames first and then we'll tackle the circles after. A line over here, then cut. Now we want to trim off the edges with your ruler. If you've done many cuts and you feel comfortable, you can always use it without the ruler and then just place your blade like this and then just slide it across, and then you have your perfect little square over here. Now I just realized that you have to cut out the frame center over here, and by cutting the outside first, it'll make it a little more difficult to cut the inside because it'll make the outside more fragile, if that makes any sense. So what you want to do is you want to cut the insides first, and then we'll cut the outside excess after. So for this step, you want to use an X-Acto pen instead because you can point more precise inside than trying to use this. It's too small. You're going to tear through the frame, which you don't want to do. Another tip in order to cut these really well is you can place a scrap piece of foam core underneath. So when your X-Acto pen goes through the foam core, you're going to be not hitting a hard surface and you won't break or dull your blade as fast. Poke in, go down, poke in, go down. Start trying to pop it out. Now once that's done, we're able to trim off the top and bottom there, just like this, all the way through. The same thing over here, cut all the way through. Go very carefully when you're making these because they're very fragile. If you press too hard, they'll like snap, okay? You want them as clean as possible. Now let's do the other three. If you make a mistake, it's better to cut into the white and have a little bit of excess white than to trim too much into the black and then have too much of a thin frame over here. This is the only part that I would say if you're kid under 12 doing this, then you should ask maybe your parents to help you with this part. The rest is a little bit easier. Okay, so I have my 4 little frames over here, and so I'm going to put these aside for now. Let's tackle the circle. I could use my big X-Acto, but because the circle is so small, I think I'm going to go with my pencil again. What I want to do is I'm going to cut this in half. When you're cutting circles, you don't want to like overflex your wrist and try to cut it in one swoop because you're going to make a mess. What you want to do is you want to place your wrist like this at a comfortable angle, and then you're going to be moving your wrist and then stopping. And then you're going to turn this, and then you're going to move this again, turn this, start at the beginning, and we're just going to repeat like this until the whole circle is cut. And then the same thing for this one. So you want to cut along the color over here. So start in a outside pokey here, and then you're going to go along the circle, and you're going to then go outside and stop. So then I start over here again, and I'm just going to continue and then stop when my wrist is no longer comfortable, and then go all the way through. Same thing again, rotate this, and then we're going to go like this. You can even leave it in if you want and then keep turning this way until you reach the outside. Now, if your circle's not perfect, doesn't matter. What we're going to do is we're going to roll it like this along the surface. So you're going to spin it and then pull. spin it, pull. And that way you're going to make this a little smoother. So I'm just going to do like this. You can see how the circle is a bit more perfect now. Let's move on to this one. Start here, outside. Doesn't matter how many times you have to pass. There's no rules really. It's really more about how your wrist is comfortable. When you're doing larger circles, it's a lot easier than tiny circles like this. Same thing here. There's little imperfections, so we're just going to roll it like this against the floor. Okay, we're done with this. Put it aside. Let's cut the foamy. Okay, now we're going to cut the in-betweens. Before I trim this, I'm going to assemble my frames over here with the foamy pieces. We're inserting the little foamy inside the frame. It should fit perfectly, and because it's a foam, you should be able to press down on the inside. Make sure that you're pressing on a hard surface so that you don't crush your frame over here. Start at an angle like this, and then we're going to lower it and then press it. And then you can use either your eraser from your pencil like this, or take a little scrap of foam core like this, and with that you'll be able to press down evenly into the corners. Now once it's pressed in, you'll notice that your foamy piece becomes flush with your frame over here. A small piece of Scotch tape, no bigger than the frame itself, and you're just going to place it on top like this, and then you're just going to press down. Use your nail just to make the Scotch tape tighter. If there's little pieces of Scotch tape that stick out like that, you're just going to trim carefully from the outer edges. And then you get a perfect secured back over here, just like that. Let's do that on the others. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put these aside and we'll cut all the remaining decals. For this, I could use my X-Acto, or I like to use my little Fiskars over here because it's just plain outlines and you can get really precise with these. If you don't know what Fiskars are, it's like mini scissors that have a spring over here. And so when you cut it, the spring makes the blades pop back open. So then you just have to concentrate on squeezing to cut. You don't have to go cut open like a regular pair of scissors. We're just going to do rough cuts to separate all the pieces, and then I'll be able to cut them more precise. Just make sure you don't go and cut into the decal itself. I can now use my Fiskars to go more precise along the outer edges. Make sure to follow the outside really carefully when you're doing the curve because it follows the size of the toilet paper roll. So here we have one perfect shape. For the body, it's the same thing, as easy as following the straight lines over here. I really love these scissors. If you don't own a pair, you should get yourself one. I got mine at Michael's. So here's your body, here's your optional feet. So now I'm going to cut all the other ones, and I think I'll do that in a time lapse. Let the time lapse begin. This is the part in celebration that was fun because you had 100 people helping you cut all these little pieces off, so you only had to do one and then have the other team do all the remaining others. There we go. We have all our pieces done. Now let's just cut all of these right away, and then we can just get to the folding, which is a little more fun than cutting. Start by just trimming this in half. Follow the bottom here and then just a little bit below the circle there. These now we can do the same thing as we did for the other one. Go in between, one straight line here, then at the top, press hard, put this aside, cut the side over here. I'm going to trim off this circle here so I don't make a mistake of chopping that. Everything is aligned at the top and bottom over here, so I'm just going to do one long cut, press hard, and see, I got that done. Try to cut as close to the white as you can. Now we're going to cut the individual sides here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab your Fiskars. We're just going to trim the outsides over here, which is pretty simple because it's just a straight line. So cut, rotate. If your decal is still not coming out, don't pull and rip it. Just play with your scissors until you get to the corners. Let it fall out on its own. Okay, this is what we want, so repeat on the others. Put Put these aside for now. Try to make a different pile from the decal skins over here and the templates, because these are going to be assembled first and then these will be applied to that. And if you just separate them when you're cutting, it just makes it easier for you to find where the pieces are when the assembly begins. Okay, same thing for these. Now remember what we said in the blueprint descriptions. You want to cut along these red lines over here as well. This will allow you to fold the pieces later. So we don't want to stop here. We want to continue all the way down. And the same thing with this side. Cut all the way down over here. Here the same thing. We'll be cutting outside, but we'll also be cutting here. And then here you'll be cutting along this end over here. And then on here. They're a little easier to cut this time because it's just the decal sheet and you don't have the thickness of the poster board. So continue all the way to the end like that. Try to leave the least amount of white as possible. Can you see how, because we cut there, you can fold it and have the ends stick out like vampire teeth, and that will be folding and it'll be gluing to the insides over here. Now if you have some white over here at some places, it's fine. When we do the Sharpie technique, it's going to hide all of that and it's going to give us black outlines that will blend in better with the decal. Okay, we have our circles. Now you can use Fiskars to cut along the outside and the inside, or you can use the X-Acto blade technique like we did before. So you want to just press on paper. It's a little easier to cut. I'm going to follow that line as much as I can. Rotate this. Take your time. Go slow so that you stay within the lines. Were you good as a kid to draw inside your coloring book? There you go. That's the inside. Now we're going to do the outside the same way. When I can't turn my wrist anymore, I'm going to turn this. And then continue. Make sure to press on your decal so that this doesn't slip away. Okay, continue over here. Keep your finger pressed. Okay, there's the little piece there. I'll just trim it a little bit more with the Fiskar. Okay, so you have a perfect little circle disc like this. This will go and cover the thickness of the foam core. Put that aside. Now we'll do the other one. Turn. Take that out. Okay, now for the center. Should have done the center first. It's easier to manipulate after. Then when you know it's ready, you poke in the center and it comes out like that. And then you have your two rings over here. These are easier because it's just straight lines. Make sure that you don't have any of these underneath, because then you'll be slicing into that, which would not be good. Just put them aside in a safe place. There we go. Now, when we start assembling, you'll understand what these different colors mean, okay? Put this aside. These two I don't need for this specific project, because this one is when it's hanging upside down for the chasm, and this is the one that you use for the Obi-Wan power unit. We just need to cut here and cut here. Here's our body skin. Press hard on your ruler. Fiskars. Here you have all 5. Put these aside. This you could keep for another project or toss them out. It's up to you. What we want to do is we want to cut every 0.5 centimeters or so. We don't want to cut all the way through. Okay, you just want to score it so that we can then fold it like this and turn it into a tube. Okay, it might not show on my pretty face, but it's 2 in the morning and I'm getting a little tired. So what I was going to do before going to bed was finish this over here, which was the body, where I would measure 0.5 centimeter demarcations over here in order to do the scoring. And then I just had a light bulb moment, and I think I'm going to do a little change in the decal for the continuation of the filming tomorrow, where I'm going to have the lines already drawn into the decal template. That way you'll just have to trace it with your X-Acto. Oh, I just hit my elbow on the table. You'll just have to trace, or not trace, score instead of tracing with the pencil and scoring after. So basically a long story to tell you that I'm going to be saving you a time-consuming step. So you're very welcome. I love you all, and let's continue on, but it will be tomorrow. But for you, it's going to be 2 seconds. Okay, I had my night's sleep, a couple of hours, had time to shave. And so here's where we were just before the edit or the last scene, which was last night. And this is the new one. So you can see the difference that I created for you. So in the final decals, this is the version that you're going to have. And so what I did is I saved you the time of having to draw the lines with your pencil. And so now you can just use this to trace with your X-Acto, or not trace, but score with your X-Acto, and then you'll be able to save about 5 minutes or so. You're welcome. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to do the scoring in order to be able to turn this into a cylinder. What you want to do is you want to use a new blade and extend it as far as you can. You want to extend this way. If you're cutting like this with the pointy tip, you have more chances of going all the way through. Okay, now I can flip it over. You can see that there's no cuts all the way through. So now I can start like a Kit Kat bar. I can start separating. Do you hear the snaps? So you just go carefully and you want to separate the styrofoam. If you see that some of the pieces aren't separating perfectly, then you can just go slowly a little deeper. Okay, there we go. It's snapping better, these ones. The end one is always tricky because you don't have any leverage here to push. You have to kind of go in the side there. Okay, so you see we still have no cuts, but look what's happening with the magic. We're able to turn your foam core, see? It's like an accordion now. You can make it flexible and it's not cracking in half. If we look at our blueprints again, we're going to see that the cuts go on the inside, and where we have the outside is the layer of paper that was left uncut from the X-Acto blade over here. What we want to do is you want to slowly bend it in like this, okay? Don't go too fast because then you will snap it, okay? So you just want to carefully bend like this. What you're doing is you're smushing the insides of the cuts over there, but it's giving you a nice surface over here. If we were to keep it with the cuts on the outside, well, then you get all these little gaps there. Do you see that? So when you put your decals, you have more of a chance to see the gaps than on the smooth surface. That's why we want to slowly bring it curved inwards. Use your thumbs as a support here, and then on the back you're like pulling towards the top like that. Now you want to do this in multiple passes. Don't try to do it all at once. Multiple is your friend. And if you want, you can even take your glue stick or a cylinder like this that you have, and you can use it to sort of like help you bend and get the shape that you want. But again, slowly, slowly, you're trying to put the memory of the bend in your shape. You don't want to snap it like this in half. You can use your nail as well to press inside like this to make the pieces easier to bend. Okay, it's coming along. See, I'm able to squeeze it smaller and tighter that I wasn't able to before. So what we want to do is we want to have it folded enough so that the A and B ends over here, the end caps, connect together to form a full circle. Take some Scotch tape and I am going to just put some on the ends over here. Now I want to press slowly until this becomes smooth. Make sure it's flush on both ends. You don't want it to be like this. You want it to be flush at the top and bottom here. It's a little tricky. And see, it's a little bit of a groove. I can press it down a little more and then put a tighter piece of Scotch tape on it after. And do the same thing on the other end. Just gonna press it in. Now it kind of looks like a water drop. When you press down, it becomes a perfect circle. So that's what we want to do. So just press down a little more and then press and then pull it even tighter. Then when you squeeze it around like this, see how your circle is nice? Compared to just one layer of Scotch tape, we have to do it on here now. Piece of Scotch tape, press down and pull really hard. See, I have my nice circle now. However, here it needs a little piece of Scotch tape too because it's kind of like a little speed bump here. You're going to be using your decal skin to cover this, so if you have long pieces of Scotch tape, it doesn't matter. It's actually easier to work with longer pieces than shorter because you can have more to grab and pull on the other side. Just keep pressing down a little bit, okay? There, we eliminated our little speed bump. Okay, I'm going to put this aside for now and I'm going to concentrate on my trapeze bodies. So before we go start folding, we need to cut out these little black squares that you see in both the templates and the decal skins over here. Carefully go along the black edge like this, from the corner to the other corner. And this one you can go to the corners because it's a flat decal, you don't have any thickness, so it's an easy cut. If you don't feel at ease going freehand, you can use a ruler. But I've done so many of these that I can just go slowly and cut along the black with no problem. Use your finger to keep pressure on the center of the black so that this doesn't slide all over the place as you're cutting. And then check the back, and if everything's fine, it'll pop out like this. This is what we want. So I'm going to do the same on all of the stickers. This is the part that reminds me of when I used to make model kits as a kid. Okay, these are all done. Now for these, this is on poster board, so we have to put a bit more pressure, but you could still go from one end to the other. There you go. Pops out just like that. Thank God there's only 4 of these to do. In order for you to identify which one is the body and which one is the skin, well, apart from the obvious poster board, you'll notice that the main bodies have no details. It's just plain color over here. The skins have all these added intricate details. Okay, before we start folding these, we're going to use the little black Sharpie technique. Now, if you've been watching many of my videos now, you know how I use this in order to hide the white of the thickness in order to make a better blend when it's all put together. So what I want to do is use the side of the Sharpie, not the tip, and always the decal side or the printed side facing outwards, so that if you make a mistake or if your hand slips, your pencil or the Sharpie is going to go and draw on the side that you're not going to see. You don't want to put a big black line on your decal side over here. So you just want to go all the way around like this on the inside as well over here. Okay, we have one. Now we're going to do all the other 3. Okay, so we finished this. Now we're going to work on the decal skins over here. We're going to do the same thing. Here I can fold this over in order to get a better reach over here. We want to do the inside as well, along this side. Okay, I have all my pieces done. Oh, I need to do the inserts. I forgot that. Okay, so grab your little insert pieces and we're just doing the same thing. Okay, I got my body templates, my little frame inserts, and I have my decal skins. We have to do the Sharpie on these pieces as well. I need to fold these little vampire teeth in order to reach the side over here. So we have the templates for the feet and we have the templates for the body over here. Okay, we need to start folding. So we're just going to follow the blueprints. We're going to fold along the red dotted lines over here. So this will fold, this will fold, this will fold, this will fold, and then this little last one. Then you're going to fold this along the dotted lines over here as well. Align your ruler where the two pieces connect there, because that's your folding line. What you want to do is you want to put your ruler like this, press hard. Don't use the cutting end, you want to use the back end, okay? You just want to put a crease along the poster board. Do you see the scratch there? This will allow you to fold this properly without making a crease over here in this section, see? I can just push it like that and see how it's following the line now. Put it like this and use my nail. We don't want to have a fold over here. You want the fold here. You want to keep this as clean as possible. Connect your ruler over here. Use the back end. Now when you press, see, it goes along here and you're not bending the sides there. Align your ruler and do the same for each side connections. Use the back of your nail and you want to just go like this. And then we just have our end cap over here. However, compared to these two, which are easy to identify because of the corners, there's no real identification here. So take my pencil like this, and I'm just gonna make a mark in the back. Now that'll match in the front. So a light score. Keep your fingers along the frame. You want to protect that. So put a lot of pressure between your thumb and your index, and then fold this down. See how it's following the scratch that you did on the other side? Nail. All your pieces now should align properly. Let me show you the folding on the feet. Align your ruler with the corners, score like you did before. Mark the back where the line is in the front. Align your ruler, score that piece as well. Now you can bend the side easily. Use your nail technique to flatten it even more. Same thing on the other side. Use your nail technique, then fold the back piece and use your nail to flatten that. Last but not least, bend the front flap and we're done. You guys want to see another time lapse? Take a piece of Scotch tape. You want to put the Scotch tape along the frame. Use my nail like this to blend the Scotch tape. Now we want to align your two pieces like this and then wrap the Scotch tape like that. Use your nail. If you have any little excess like this, you could either fold it in the back or trim it with the scissor, but I prefer just folding it clean like this. I'm going to do the other side, a little piece of Scotch tape over here. We're then going to fold this and then bring the Scotch tape around. Fold this little excess underneath. The connection that you have at the bottom and at the top is a little trickier because it's not as wide. So you want to take just a little sliver, just enough to cover the top, and then use your thumb to press it tight against it there. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to connect it in a 90-degree angle here, okay? So then you're going to just press this together and then fold your Scotch tape like that. Your little excess here, same thing, fold over. I have a very tiny piece over here for this end. Just going to do this. So you want to fold this on its side so that it's a nice angle, okay? And that it's flush over here. So this is what you want it to look like. Now I have this piece to stick at the top. Always use your thumb in the back there for support, and then pull and then bend. And I have just this one little piece over here. I need to do a tiny sliver again. So now it's this side that I want. So over here, just like that. Fold and then use your nail. So this is what your little trapeze looks like, okay? From the front, it'll fit exactly on your toilet paper roll. And you're wondering why there's a hole. Remember those frames that we did? Well, that's going to go inside here. And when you look at it this way, do you see it gives you that three-dimensional depth? You want to connect this end to this end. You're going to put your Scotch tape like this, and then use your nail. I like the magic Scotch tape because when you press, it becomes transparent, and so you know where you pressed and where you still didn't press. It makes it a little easier. This piece is the back, so you're going to be folding it like this. What you want to do is you want to make flush this corner to this corner over here. It's normal that there's a gap here. You're just going to align the two pieces like this. You see over here, and then bring the Scotch tape down. Actually, my Scotch tape is too long. Cut the excess off. I just want to use my fingernail. You want to create this little box shape here. Now, all we need to do is the front here. Little piece, you see the width matches. I'm going to put it halfway. Use my nail. Now you want to push the two pieces together, and we're just going to pull this tight and then press it against the side so that you get a nice 90-degree corner here. Okay, so I'm just going to press this in place, then pull tight, and then press against the side. And that's what your little foot looks like. If you're wondering about these curves, that's what's going to go and fit around the toilet paper. Okay, I have a foot and a body. Now I just have to do the same thing for all the other pieces. There we go, our little feet and our little bodies. Now we can attach these little frames inside of these. You could use glue stick for this step. You just want to put a small dab at the top and bottom, which will attach over here. Always do a dry run first. Make sure your pieces fit together. The important thing is to have your inside of the frame here flush with what you cut. You want them to align perfectly. You don't want it high or low or too much to the left or to the right. Or this is the left, this is the right. So a little drop over here and a little drop here. And then I'm going to insert this in place. Make sure that the sides touch over here and that it touches flush. Then just press it slightly like this. Okay, so this is what we want. Flush all on the insides. I don't know if you could see it. And it'll fit flush in between the two pieces over here and at the top. It's a nice, tight, snug fit. Let's do the others. One, two, three, four. We can now insert the skins. If you remember when I was explaining the blueprints at the beginning of the video, the red folds over here are outwards and the yellow fold in the center is inwards, meaning that inwards you're going to fold it this way and outwards means that you fold it this way. We're going to start with the inside, okay, that you're going to be folding inward like this. It will fit inside your frame. This here represents the thickness of the frame. That's why it's a bit darker. And then this is the top of the frame, which is this over here. That's why the color is the same. And this is the side of the trapeze body. The first one's folded inwards and all the other ones are folded outwards. And then outward for this one too. Do you see how this becomes the inside of the frame, the top and the outside? Now we just have to do the same thing for all the other sides. Again, do slow at first and then pinch it tighter once you see that it's following the line. This is what your folds look like. Now, before we peel this, we're going to apply some glue stick along the outside over here, because if this by any chance gets positioned in the wrong place, I want to be able to wiggle it or remove it at worst without tearing all the rest of the body. Since it's so tiny, I'm going to use the small Yoo-hoo instead of the big one. Carefully peel this off. Make sure you don't rip it and tear it because it's very fragile. So you have to kind of unfold this while you peel. If you're not using decal sheets like this, then you just take your piece of paper, put the glue stick directly on the back here, and then apply it on your shape. You're able to go inside, see? And you'll be able to press down and along the edges to have your decal fit exactly along the inner frame. If you look at the prototype, the little dots inside, you have a highlight at the top and a shadow at the bottom. That's how it has to be. Don't put the sticker upside down where you would have it with the shadow at the top, because it'll make it look strange. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. So lift your edges like this, shadow at the bottom, and then you're going to align it with the inside as much as you can. Slowly and carefully push it inside. Can you see where it's darker here? This is where you want the inside of the frame. Once you fold it over, you see how this color matches the color of the base. Fold these back like this, and then along the side. This is what it's supposed to look like. See how it makes a huge difference? Okay, so let us fold these other ones. One, two, three, four. Now don't worry about the ugliness of the way that these side of the frame looks like, because we're going to be covering it like this with the clean frame. Time to fold our pieces over here. We need to fold the little vampire teeth over here. Fold the front, the other little vampire tooth. We have the frame, and we want to fold these darker lines over here like this. Then the two flaps over here. When you bend this, try not to fold your frame there, because that's what you want it to look nice there, to hide the ugliness of the other one. You don't want to put an ugly frame on top of an ugly frame. And then this will go over your trapeze form. And then these over here overlap on top of the darker color. So it'll go over like this, and then it'll give you a nice clean seam. Then this one goes behind the other two like this, so that it gives you a nice corner edge like that. And then the front is the same thing. This will fold over and give you a nice 90-degree corner here. Now after all this work, the last thing you want to do is rip these pieces. So make sure to peel them carefully. I'm going to pick one of the boxes. I just want to put some glue stick on the side wings and on the frame. That's where you want your little glue stick lubrication there. First thing I want to do is I want to align this as much as I can with the frame. You want this line to be where the bend is. Align with the line and then align with the frame. When it goes down, it matches over here as well. Okay, so you know that this will be a good fit. The frame looks nice in the front, so I can start pressing that. Now the first thing to fold over is the top over here. Press it against. Now bring it against the side over here and against this side like that, okay? You'll see that your folding guides match up with the front shape there. Now you want to bring these little sides over. Start at the top and then work your way to the side of it so that you remove any of the bubbles and you leave this a nice flat surface. So then you're going to be pressing so that the two decals overlap over here, just like this. Then you can do your side flap, bring that down. Now you can manipulate it a little bit this way if you have to, but what you want is you want the side here to align with the front. You don't want it to align like this. You want it to align nice and smooth over here. Then you press down. Same thing with the other side. I can fold that down, make sure it aligns perfectly over here, and then press it down. Now you want to pull this towards you a little bit so that you can bend your little vampire teeth there against the front. Then you can wrap this around like that. and you have a perfect trapeze. Here's the 4 main bodies. If you're doing the feet, now's the time to apply the decals on that. So we just want to pre-fold like we did for the main body. So the little vampire teeth, they fold under the front flap over here. And once this is folded at 90 degrees over here, then these bottom flaps over here, that's where this leans on, and it fits like that. And then you have your curvature over here to fit around your tube. Let's do all the others. There, 1, 2, 3, 4. Peel that. Since we don't have a frame to match over here, we don't necessarily have to apply the glue stick on the back of the decal. You just want it at the top and on the front. Align the top. If your sides match up, fold side first, then fold over the bottom and your vampire teeth there. Now you're ready to fold the front. It should line up perfectly. Now, because the bottom folds over the 2 little tabs here, it'll prevent the side from ever popping off. There you go. There's the skin for one of the feet. Okay, align this over here with the sides. Looks like I'm putting a Lee press-on nail. Align. There we go. Les pieds, as we say in French, and the bodies. So now we can put this aside. See where it's dark here? We have to cut along this edge over here. Now the reason we're cutting this is because you want to have this shape, which I just showed you, so that once you roll it around your shish kebab, when you look at it from the side, it should align and give you this angle over here that you'll be able to glue and attach it on your little piece at the bottom of your trapezoid. So grab your fiskars and then carefully cut like that. This is the shape we want. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. So cut. Sharpie pen, decal side out. You want to align this blank space over here with your shish kebab because this end over here is going to wrap around and overlap this section over here. Start my peeling for the decal. Peel that. Do you see over here? This is where there's no texture. That's where you're aligning your shish kebab. When you're wrapping it around the shish kebab, you don't want the decal to stick to this. You want to be able to slide it off. So instead of putting the glue on the decal, you're going to put it around the shish kebab here to make this greasy. Then like a flagpole, you're going to place this on it like that. Try to have this aligned flush with the other end, okay? You don't want to have it angled. And then you're going to carefully start turning it. This is what you're looking for. See how it's angled over there to fit the trapeze? Let this dry. Spin it like this with between your fingers. As long as it's on the shish kebab, you can squeeze it really tight. Once you pull it off, if you squeeze it, it's hollow, so you're going to end up with a flat pancake, which is not what you want. You want this little tube thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's time to grab our cylinder again. Now we're going to put the skin on this. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of glue stick to get us started. Peel. So I said white at the top, right? And I want to start with this. So I'm going to put this here. You want to try to align it as straight as possible so that the top and bottom will follow flush along the edges there. That's why I like to put a bit of glue stick along the body so that when it comes to wrapping it, if it needs to be undone, I'm not tearing the decal. Some more here, and then along to the other side. Now, if you do it well, these lines should align. Now, they're a little bit off, so I'm going to pull this and just tweak it a little bit more. I'm pulling it this way as I go along, and I got a more precise match, you see? Now I can go along over here, go to the center, center out, and then make sure there's no air bubbles. And you see, because we didn't put a black Sharpie, I can't even see where my overlay is. Oh, over here. See, it's almost invisible. You can't tell. Now we have even gaps between all of these little embossed shapes. Now we said that the white is at the top. This dark line will be the bottom because that's your guide of how deep you have to press your little circle in after. Peel this. For this, it's going to be harder to put glue on the inside of the foam core. I'm going to be putting the glue directly on the back of my decal here. Remember, dark line at the bottom. You want to place it here like this first. Then bring this inside until it looks like that. Press this down until it reaches the top flush. Turn this and bring it down to match. And then you're going to overlap. Before you overlap here, you have to make sure that you're flush. And see, there's dark color here. It's not good. You want to manipulate it so that it comes up. Once it's flush all the way around, then you can overlap it over here. Grab your circle. What you want to do is you want to push this as deep as that line inside. The dark line is the thickness of your foam core. So once it's inside, it'll be just the color that's exposed. Insert this like this, then tilt it carefully, press it down until you get to that color demarcation there. Now we're ready to apply the trapezes that we made. So I'm going to put a little hot glue only on each side. That's all you need. Oh, I have a cat hair stuck on the end of my glue. That's the last thing I need. And just a little bit there. Remember, white is at the top. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but I just want to make sure that you don't make any mistakes. Once we start putting glue on this, we don't want to damage or decal. Choose one of the dark zones, and I'm just going to align this. Make sure that the top and bottom fit between those two lines there. You want to have an even spacing on each side of these embossed little octagons there. The dark color is just a guide to show you where it should fit, and it's a little smaller so that this can go around it and that none of this darkness sticks out. You can see how it fits perfectly along the top and at the bottom. Grab your other little piece, minimal glue. Try not to squeeze your hot glue gun too much because we don't want to make a big globby mess on the sides of these little panels there. Just like that. That looks good. One over here. There we go. And we have one last one. There we go. Perfect. And we have our 4 little panels all the way around. When you look at it like this, it's like a clock. 12, 3, 6, 9. I really love how this design turned out. It's really cool. Now remember these little caps? We're going to put a drop of hot glue right there. The tiniest drop. And then you take your little piece like this. And then you dip it in the drop. And then you place it in the center. And it should align at an angle like this. And it should be straight in between like that, equally. And it should be straight here, parallel to this. Now we just repeat the same for the other sides. Small drop, place, align, small drop, place and align. And last one, the smallest drop, because you don't want glue all over the place. You can wiggle it around if you want to smudge the glue there. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember those little rings that we created? Well, that's going to go on top like this. Before we start, we want to put the Sharpie along the inside ring. Might as well do the other one. The other one's for the bottom. Peel this. I was throwing away the decal and keeping the wax paper. Oh my God. So a little bit of glue stick at the top, and we can press down over here. Be careful, it's very fragile. Try to use 2 fingers in order to place it properly. And with the glue stick, you'll be able to shift it around in order to find the exact alignment. See how it doesn't stick out from the sides and it looks perfect on the inside as well? And can you see by putting the black Sharpie around, you don't see any white lines of the thickness of the paper. Okay, our body is done. We have the rings on both sides. Now, before you wrap your skin decal on your toilet paper roll, make sure to take off all of these little excess toilet paper. You want the roll to be smooth, smooth, smooth. So again, very simple. We're just going to cut a straight line over here like we see in the blueprint. And then this will allow you to make the toilet paper just slightly smaller in circumference in order to fit your inside foam core toilet paper roll tube template. I like to use longer scissors so that it's almost one cut that's in a straight line. Go like this and then just cut in a straight line. Make sure that your scissors are not angled. You want to make it 90 degrees to the base. Scotch tape. We'll start by rolling it like this and keep pulling this until it reaches a tightness like that. Make sure it's flush at the bottom. Now we can take Scotch tape, put it all the way across like that. Now use your pencil, pop this out because we have the correct spacing over here now. We want to do the same thing on the other end. So simply insert it like this. Because you already have this taped on this end, all you need to do is twist it like that and see how it forms a nice tight cap like this. Take a long piece of Scotch tape and go all the way across like this. Make sure it's not going anywhere. Flip this inside and this will become the base of the power unit. Your skin over here is going to wrap around this way with these rectangles at the bottom. What I did was just put some black Sharpie on the bottom and the top of your wrap here. Now, this side is the side that's going to wrap overlay over here. Find your joint over here where it connected. Peel. Okay, a little bit of glue stick like we did before. Align it at the base. If your toilet paper doesn't reach the top of the decal, that's fine because that's how they make them. What's important is the base over here. Then this keeps going at the bottom, which is good. Then wrap it around like so, and it should match with the top over here. In the new design, the final design, you have this way for the feet. If we don't want to use the feet, you put the feet demarcations inside over here. You carefully twist it. It should fit perfectly. And then press it down, and it should stop where it reaches the top over here. This would be your base, like you see in the movie. Now, if you're happy with that, you could leave it like that, but I think that it looks cool with the feet. So let's pull this back out. We're going to do the same thing with the little feet that we did with the body. Over here, you'll notice there's a little oval shape at the top layer, and at the bottom is a straight line. Now what you're going to be doing is that your dark color here is going to be your reference position and you're going to be placing this on top. You'll notice that your curve over here is just going to come and cover the darkness. This straight line now is going to be leaning against your bottom circle. So a little bit of glue on each side here. Find one of your dark colors and then you're just going to apply it centered like this. Make sure that you're flush at the bottom and that you're leaning against the top of the circle there, just like this. Press it against the tube for a little while until the glue cools down. And we got our first piece. Grab another piece, move on to the next one. You can always put it on the table surface if you want to make sure that it's flat and flush with the base. And there you have it, like that. You get to choose the option of having feet like this, or if you prefer, just the base itself. I'm choosing the feet. Insert this. You can turn it a little bit, and then we just press it down slowly until it reaches the top. Last thing is you want to align your trapeze here with your feet. So you're going to spin this until you see that it's pretty much aligns on all sides. So when you have it standing, it matches the top. And there you have it. Your power unit is complete. You can make as many as you want, place it in any direction you want, sideways, upside down. Depending on the scene you chose, you have many, many areas to place it in. I hope you enjoyed the build. Told you it wasn't that hard. Now remember, the cool part about this is you'll be able to use it in multiple scenes of other dioramas. So that's the bonus part of building this accessory. Also, if you've been putting off becoming a patron for my dioramaworkshop.com, this could be the perfect timing because I will be giving for the Red Room special discounts in which, depending on the tier that you select, you can obtain up to 1, 2, or 3 free decal and blueprint kits in order to build the accessory of your choice. If you become a VIP, you can get free of the entire room and the entire kit. Now, next time, we're going to be tackling, yes, the docking bay windows. It's another simple build, but it's going to be a crucial part of the red docking bay. I was going to say accessory, but it is accessory room. I was debating, is it room, accessory? Oh my lord. Anyway, I can tell that it's time for me to go now. So Frank Durio, ciao for now. Bye. Thanks for watching Diorama Workshop. If you want to see the entire list of currently available diorama build blueprints, decals, and tutorials, visit my website's Speed Index menu page. If you want to interact with me, you can find and follow me on these social media platforms. If you have a question about this video or any past Star Wars Celebration diorama booth builds, send me an email at dioramaworkshop.com@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this video, you now have access to the Super Thanks button, which allows you to send a one-time donation that helps support Diorama Workshop, future builds, and tutorials. If you want to encourage my website and channel long-term, you can now become a patron. Your support will help purchasing more materials for future builds and tutorials. Visit Patreon Diorama Workshop for more information. If you are interested in Diorama Workshop collectibles, you can now purchase all kinds of cool merch in the Diorama Workshop Spread Shop store. If you want to build your own dioramas at home, make sure to visit the Diorio Dioramas Etsy shop, where you can purchase and download all of the decals and blueprints, Cricut, SVGs, and digital artwork at reasonable prices. And if you're a Patreon member, you'll receive some really cool discounts on all of the items on sale. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends and social media groups to check it out. You can see more about this build and 2 decades of Star Wars Celebration construction. Simply click on the link to warp to dioramaworkshop.com, the official Star Wars Celebration Diorama Builders booth website.